creepy and cool TikToks that will blow your mind. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, as these clips haven't been fact-checked.
Leprosy. The Leper King. Kingdom of Heaven 2005. Great movie. One of my favorite movie actually. What? What? You know, the dad be like, you're fine. Don't tell your mom, okay?
A woman named Aspasia teaches Socrates. Oh, that got left out of your stories, didn't it? Socrates' teacher was a woman named Aspasia. The reason why that got left out of your history is because once we became Christian, we didn't like the idea that women were teachers and leaders. And so there was a systematic attempt to delete all the women leaders and all the women philosophers from the history textbooks.
You all should watch the movie Agora. Oh man. What is going on? Oh gosh. He probably got the Bitcoin password inside. There's nothing new. All technological devices we are using today was existing in ancient times. Sort of. Oh man. So sweet. Oh, oh, oh. No. Hey, what are you doing? It's Valentine's Day in Indonesia. Happy Valentine's Day, ladies and gentlemen from Indonesia.
What is the worst area in London?
Okay, you hit me. Worst.
Think wisely.
I got to go with Wood Green. That is a damn scary place.
I
swear
saw
to
a
God.
TikTok of Wood Green recently. I didn't know it existed until
Oh,
a couple
really?
of days ago.
I kind of feel like that part of North London, Wood Green, getting into like Tottenham, it's just a different place. I'm from South London, so yeah.
Okay, anybody from London would like to leave a comment? Please don't hesitate.
4 big ways that you've turned other people into a problem. Number 1, you allow them to stress you out. Number 2, you're so concerned about what everybody else thinks. It is a massive obstacle in your way because you consider it before you do anything.
Oh, that's good.
Number 3, you navigate your entire life based on other people's emotional reactions, and you allow emotional immaturity in other people and in yourself to dominate how you move through your day. And number 4, your habit of chronically looking over there and comparing yourself makes you feel like life is unfair and that other people are against you or competing with you. And all 4 of those things are simply not true. And you can use the let them theory to remove all 4 of those obstacles. And when you no longer allow people to stress you out, you have more energy.
Yep.
When you allow people, you let them think negative thoughts about you because you recognize you can't control what they think anyway. It frees you up to focus on what's within your control,
That's
which is
good.
what you think about yourself. And when you operate in a way, Lewis, that makes you proud of yourself, you authentically don't really care if people have a negative opinion.
I'm hearing good things about her book. It's called The Let Them Theory.
Great white, great white, great white shark. Cutting the live bait off. Guess I'm out of here. Oh mate, get out of the rudder. Holy me, there's a huge great white behind me. It's following me. If I get eaten, it's not going to be much fun. He's still right on my tail.
No,
He's
it's
following
not.
my rudder. Please don't attack me, bro. Oh my
Just
god.
don't attack me, bro.
Please leave me alone, bro. What
Okay,
can I
bro.
throw out the back to get him away from me? If I throw my water bottle, I know that I'm littering, but it might take his attention away from me. Alright,
Yeah,
we'll throw
throw
this
it.
water bottle. He's turned on the water bottle.
Not, okay. Throw another one.
No, he didn't.
Uh-oh, it's still
Thought
on
that
you.
would work. He's coming closer. I'm sorry for all the swearing, but I'm shitting bricks right now. I have lost sight of him. I don't like that. I've lost sight of
Man,
him.
I cannot imagine.
Where is he? He could just be swimming. Holy sh. I'm just not gonna stop paddling.
Okay, yes,
and keep an
go,
eye
go.
out. I'm so out of here, man. Te Moana, Te Tangaroa, please keep me safe, keep me well, and get me home. Holy sh. I don't know where he's gone, but I gotta turn these cameras off. Oh sh, that was him. That huge swirl behind me. I hope that front camera picked it up. Oh f me.
Don't turn off the camera.
Oh, f me. He's still following me. He's got a distance, but he could swim up on me at any moment. Tangaroa, please get me home safe, Tangaroa.
Who is that? By the way, don't fish in a kayak in a great white shark water. Just a thought.
3 men wearing plain clothes entered a taco truck in Memphis on Monday and detained 3 employees, surveillance video posted to social media shows. Local officials later identified the men as federal agents. The agents are seen escorting the employees out of the truck and then searching it. Greg Diaz, the owner of the raided taco truck, who also owns 7 other truck locations throughout Memphis, told a local news outlet that the 3 taco truck employees do not have criminal records. Diaz says the employees
Is it
told him
illegal,
they
though?
were being detained by ICE. The company has contacted legal aid organizations to help the employees. In 2022, the U.S. Department of Labor opened an investigation into allegations that Diaz was violating labor law, according to CNN affiliate
man.
WMC. Diaz was accused of using social media to recruit workers from Mexico and allegedly paying them low wages to work long hours. CNN has reached out to ICE, the U.S. Department of Labor, the mayor's office, and Diaz for comment, but has not heard back.
This is a
Okay, let me know how you feel about this in the comment.
public service announcement. Please share this information widely. Tri-Union Seafoods has issued a voluntary recall out of an abundance of caution because some select cans of tuna may have been contaminated with botulism that are sold under various names, such as H-E-B, Trader Joe's, Genova, and Van Camp's. This recall was initiated because the manufacturer noticed that there was some compromise with the easy open tab that opens up the lid, so the integrity of the device may allow it to be leaking from the outside world, which could potentially increase the risk of a bacteria called Clostridium botulinum to contaminate these canned tunas, which even if you try smelling what is inside, that's not going to matter because botulism doesn't necessarily have a smell of spoilage.
Botulism.
There are many lot numbers that are associated with this recall, and I have reposted this recall to my Substack newsletter with additional details that you can subscribe to for free to get this information to your inbox on a regular basis.
Never heard of it. But groceries are too expensive for all these recalls.
We want to help you, but do not fight us. You will get ripped out of this car.
This is crazy. Oh my.
Dramatic body cam footage has revealed California cops tasering 22-year-old Jack Bruce, who had suffered a seizure and crashed his car
What's
down
wrong
a
with
20-foot
these
cliff.
cops, man?
There's only one way out of here, and that's walking, okay? Because we're not driving out. That's not happening.
Despite being disoriented, officers and firefighters demanded he exit the vehicle.
Let's hop out.
Dude, can you just...
We're getting out. Let's go. We got an ambulance. Come on. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Bruce, who had his first epileptic seizure while driving, was slumped and mumbling, showed no signs of alcohol or drug use, yet officers still threatened to taser him.
Oh, God.
Let's go. Get out of the car. You're about to get tased, dude. Well, let me get on. Ow! Get out of the car!
Stop fighting. You're tasering him. What's wrong with these people?
Come on. No more. No more. No more. Let's just try.
Many first responders acknowledged that he suffered a seizure, yet he was allegedly tasered 3 times, punched in the face
Oh my
twice,
God.
cursed at, and shoved.
Put your hands on your back, please.
Bruce was told he would be charged with resisting arrest and a DUI. The case was dismissed, and he has since filed a civil rights lawsuit against the police department in the United States District Court for the Northern District of California, alleging that the 3 officers involved did not follow protocol, even after acknowledging that he was seizing. Following his encounter with police, he suffered multiple injuries, including a black eye, severe pain, and a lacerated lip. He was on bed rest for about a week to recover and was later diagnosed with a seizure disorder. Bruce said he only remembers waking up in hospital after regaining full consciousness.
Oh my goodness. You know, regardless of the seizure, he just fell into a cliff and the first response isn't to give him medical attention.
As I'm concerned,
Madness.
if all of the hostages aren't returned by Saturday at 12 o'clock, I think it's an appropriate time. I would say cancel it and all bets are off and let hell break out. I'd say they ought to be returned by 12 o'clock on Saturday, and if they're not returned, all of them, not in drips and drabs, not 2 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 2. Saturday at 12 o'clock, and after that, I would say all hell is going to break out.
Ooh, that's what you call a leader right there. No messing about. Good on you, sir. From Indonesia.
What did you just say?
Kelly.
Wow.
She say what? Hey.
No.
Oh. Hi.
Hey, y'all.
You.
What? Salam alaikum.
No way.
This is what happens to bad kitties.
Where's the catnip?
No way, no.
I promise. It's okay.
He said help. What? No, he didn't say that. My cat said it is AI. Don't really like Taylor Swift myself, but why boo at her?
Are you trying to go to the clinic?
Yeah.
It's closed.
What happened?
I mean, the US aid funding has been frozen, so they're closing down clinics.
I don't know what to do. Serious. What will I do? There's nothing.
Clinics like this are a lifeline for people in this community, especially women suffering from HIV. This one, now shut, is a huge disappointment for people just trying to stay alive.
Alright, I'm not trying to be a prick, but what is this the responsibility of the American taxpayer?
It's the most popular movie in China right now. Crowds are flooding theaters to see it. Box office takings from Chinese animated movie Ne Zha 2 hit $974 million in just 10 days. That makes it the highest grossing movie in a single market, surpassing Star Wars: The Force Awakens. What's making Ne Zha 2 such a phenomenon? The movie follows the epic journey of a mythical boy, gifted with extraordinary powers and masterful martial arts skills. A rebellious yet righteous hero, Ne Zha blends action, humor, and heart into an unforgettable adventure. And get this, 5 years in the making, it features 1,900 special effects shots and over 10,000 meticulously crafted visual elements. For years, Hollywood has dominated China's box office with billion-dollar hits. Now China is making history with its own cinematic marvel.
It's banned in US, you know, due to national security. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
2018, a long bronze finger was discovered at the Louvre Museum in France. It had been at the museum since 1862, and for 150 years, the finger's history and origin was unknown. But then, in 2018, that all changed. The Louvre had mistakenly categorized the finger as a toe until an eagle-eyed student, Aurelia Azima, established that it was the long-lost digit from the hand of a Roman emperor's statue.
Wow.
And in 2021, it was taken to Rome, where it was reunited with the hand of Constantine the Great.
Interestingly enough, they can return Roman artifacts with no problem. If you know, you know. You is grumpy. Oh man. What? No, come on.
Your phone ringing.
You know, the first cat be like, I just took a shower and your breath smell.
Who are the PayPal mafia, and how are they linked to apartheid-era South Africa?
Well, they're a group of men who are at the top, the founding of PayPal, all of whom, in some way or other, grew up in South Africa as children. You've got Musk himself, who was born in South Africa and lived there, went to high school there until he was 18. Musk's grandfather, Canadian grandfather, had been the head of the Canadian branch of a political movement in the 1930s called Technocracy Incorporated, which in essence wanted to scrap democracy in the United States and Canada and have technocrats rule the country, which might sound familiar. That becomes a de facto fascist party, is banned during the Second World War, and then the grandfather moves to apartheid South Africa, having had no connection to the place, in 1950 because he likes the sound of apartheid. And even Errol Musk says of the grandfather, he was an open neo-Nazi. You got Peter Thiel, who was a co-founder with Musk of PayPal. Thiel was born in Germany, but brought to South Africa as a young child. His father was a mining engineer, lived in Johannesburg, and then moved to Southwest Africa, which was then a South African colony, is now Namibia. And he went to school in Swakopmund, which was notorious as probably the last place on the planet where people still openly greeted each other with Heil Hitler and celebrated Hitler's birthday. He went to a German school there before moving to the United States when he was 10 or 11. You've got David Sachs, who was born in Cape Town. He's big in PayPal and is now Trump's AI and crypto czar. He moved to Tennessee as a relatively young child, but grew up in the white South African diaspora there. And you've got Roelof Botha, the grandson of Pik Botha, the last foreign minister of apartheid South Africa. He was the acceptable face of apartheid. You'll remember he used to run around the United States trying to put a gloss on how they were reforming things and that everything was getting better. So you see those four key people at the top of PayPal, and they all have this, you know, very intimate connection to South Africa.
You know, this right here is one of the reasons why they want TikTok gone, because, you know, it tells the untold stories. You know, I miss my cat Wesley. He passed like 4 months ago. I miss you, my friend.
I love when everyone says Tartaria was only in Asia, because this is right in the heart of New York. You see these windows right here, them circles, that's your trachea, the Asian symbol for a trinity. What's that doing in New York? This is another giant Asian structure in New York. Beautiful. And that's your Tibetan trachea. All these arcs on this open level right here were really all open. There was no windows in here. I got the original blueprints from some of the churches, all right? These were all wide open. When you guys realize that Tartaria is Tartarus from the Bible, and these are all pagan synagogues, all right? With your pagan faces right here. There's your Moloch, a gargoyle on the corner with its horns. These buildings were built by your Nephilim and the fallen angels. This is Tartarus, the Greek underworld. That's why you got all these pagan demons, the Greek demons with the horns on it, okay? This is all fallen angel tech, right? The Nephilim, fallen angels, and the Masons built these. I'm not even playing. Right here, look. Your Masonic crest right there. That's your Freemason triangle right there. And that's your tool right there that they use, the geometry tool. You can see all the Royal Arc Masons up in here. Come on. This is all your royal blood. You can see the Masonic crests on every single peak, all right? They didn't add those up here. They really built that. Here it is right in the front with the lion and the horse and the crown, the royal crown. These are all your royal monarchs.
Wow, look at those buildings.
Just look how far it dips off in the back. You see how it's like 10 feet down there? That means there's another 10 feet to the front of this church that's buried because this whole street got flooded and reset. There's the river right there. This river flooded this whole entire area and it reset the grade. The original date to this building's underneath that. Just look how far back this dips in the back, all right? This was all gonna match the front of that building. Up there is a solid copper antenna and it's connected to that roof. My buddy talked to the owner of this building before. He was gonna scrap that, get like $600 because it's solid copper up there. So you see how that cone cylinder has a peak on it right there, made of copper? That one would have had one right here too. This is the next structure over. They took it off. You can see how this drops off right here in the back of this building, dips off, and there's the river right there. That's what they gave you to replace it, are these power stations right here, your national grid. That's what these buildings were originally constructed like, were these towers right here. They were open temples and they bricked over this technology and filled them in and converted them to churches. You can see this is right down the street. This is another Tibetan temple that got veneered over and bricked in. That's a Buddha in that window, okay? This is a Tibetan structure in the heart of New York. Somatic tone right there that they put the smokestack in and covered all that up. And they bricked around this whole thing, all right? These buildings go way further into the ground and they're all over the planet.
You know, follow this guy on TikTok, Indios369. He has great contents.
About the 17-year-old basketball player, straight A student. He from the block, he got out. They protected those guys. What happened? That's who killed my son. The 17? Yeah.
Now we know why he was killed.
Why?
Noah Scurry was a 17-year-old rising basketball star from Philadelphia. The kind of kid you look at and think, he got a future. He was the captain of his basketball team, putting up 15 points a game. He even had the highest SAT score in his classroom. The teachers loved him. The coaches respected him, and he was on his way up. But there was a side that nobody knew about him. The streets, they knew him as Joker OTV. So just the day before...
What's the story behind this? Someone care to explain?
The average World Fair had a Ferris wheel. That Ferris wheel is 50 tons. Each little box that's going around in the Ferris wheel holding people can hold anywhere from 60 to 200 people at a time. And there's usually like 30 of them on the wheel. They said it took 10 minutes for the wheel to go around one time. Think of the energy that would be required just to do that. And all of these world fairs were all outfitted with light bulbs. Every single one. Thousands and thousands and thousands of light bulbs. And you're seeing all these things going, wait a minute, but that didn't come around till this time. This is how much energy we're producing at that time. This is whatever else. What I started to realize was all of this stuff has already been here. It was just all of these things being put on for show. And when I would notice, when I go even farther back to like the 1700s and the beginning of the 1800s, they were showing people this exotic jewelry from Russia and all these different countries, which is mind-blowing, made out of pure gold and silver and malachite and stones. That's just, you look at it and you can't even fathom something like this. And that's where I started to realize all of these things being shown have already been here. They're just being stolen, taken away, and moving to other places, and then put on display as if like, King this, you know, was the one who did it. And it's like, no, you're just the one who took it.
Tartaria, what an amazing rabbit hole to go down.
Did you know that you can get rid of parasites in your gut by simply adding turmeric to garlic? This drink is so effective that just 1 cup can eliminate all the viruses and bacteria from your digestive system. In addition to doing a complete cleanse, it will also strengthen your immune system, improve digestion, and reduce inflammation. Here's how to prepare it. First, you'll need 3 cloves of garlic. Cut them into small slices. Next, take 2 limes and cut them into slices, as shown in the demonstration. And most importantly, add a teaspoon of turmeric powder and also a pinch of black pepper. Black pepper enhances turmeric's effectiveness by 2,000%, making this a highly potent antibacterial drink. In a pot, add 550 milliliters of water with the ingredients we just prepared. Cook over high heat and let it boil for 8 minutes. After boiling, strain the mixture. How to take it? Drink 1 cup of this beverage every day on an empty stomach for 2 weeks. For sweetness, you can mix in a teaspoon of honey. After 2 weeks, your gut will be completely free of parasites. Your digestion will improve significantly, and all the viruses and bacteria will be gone. If you like easy and natural recipes, rate it from 1 to 10 in the comments. I wish you a long and healthy life. Thanks for your support, and see you in the next video.
I want to try it, but except the honey part, because I heard heating honey significantly reduce its nutritional value, by damaging enzymes and other beneficial components. Ooh. Great footage. Look at that. India is ancient culture, and many temples are incredibles, and nobody know who do it and how. In Indonesia, we have Candi Borobudur, great temple. Look it up. It's massive.
The longest I was up was probably 17 days.
17 days in a row.
Yeah, yeah.
Damn.
Yep.
Man. And then what do you? What are
17
you doing
days
during the day to keep yourself? Like, what's that look
This
like?
is what's crazy. Okay, it starts off like you feel like you're accomplishing everything. Yeah. It turns into you sit in color for 5 days.
What?
Really, you get stuck on one thing and you do it for days. Like I would sit in front of my mirror and do my makeup for 24 hours, just doing it, wiping it off, doing it, wiping it off.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't even know. Meth, that rocked my whole world. But like I said, it was like a 3-year bender. I walked out of my house one day and 3 years just like went by.
So was any legal trouble? You skate out of that whole thing?
Me personally,
yeah.
Yes, I got away with a lot of stuff.
Well, we all did.
Yeah.
I mean, like if we'd been caught for everything we ever did, we would be in prison.
Right. My husband, however, he started doing it because I did it.
Okay.
Oh, gosh.
So he didn't do it prior to you doing it.
Right.
Okay.
Right. He started doing it because I did it, because I was staying up all night, not going to bed with him. So he was like, I'm gonna try it.
Being sober is seriously the best thing ever.
Regarding the Patrick Mahomes voodoo doll, the Eagles fan who was repeatedly poking it, I asked a New Orleans voodoo practitioner what that meant. If you haven't seen the video, here's a small clip. So many of y'all were tagging me in that video, and I saw it and I was like, what is going on? If you're just seeing my face across your For You page, basically I just cover a bunch of true spooky scary stories that people submit to me. But then I realized a while back I had gotten an email from this woman named Claudette who claimed that she practices New Orleans voodoo and that if she can ever provide any insight on any of my videos, she would love to talk more. So I sent her this video and I was like, I'd love to hear your thoughts, and this is what she sent me back. I had to get my computer because I'm just going to read you what she said because I don't want to get it wrong. So she said, in voodoo practices, dolls, we call them poppets, are often used as symbolic representations of individuals. The act of stabbing the doll is believed to inflict misfortune upon the person the poppet represents. The poppet is not inherently a tool of harm, but as a conduit of energy. Each pin, each placement carries meaning. The stomach is a center of power where strength and will reside. It is also where fear, anxiety, and doubt take root. To stab a doll in the stomach could mean many things. It could be an attempt to weaken someone's resolve, to drain their energy, to fill them with unease or pain. In some cases, it is meant to disrupt confidence, digestion, or even a person's ability to act with clarity and force. But remember, voodoo is not just about harm. Intention is everything. A pain in the stomach could also symbolize transformation, forcing someone to purge negativity or making them vulnerable to change. The question is just not what was done, but why. Whatever that woman at the Super Bowl was doing, she was channeling something. Whether it was just a fan superstition or something deeper, well, Mahomes surely felt it, didn't he? As far as examples of times when this would be used, now that's a question laced with intent. If someone were to press a pin into the stomach of the doll to weaken another's determination, it would be in moments of deep struggle, when bending to will is more useful than breaking a body. Imagine a courtroom, Cher. She calls me Cher. A bitter fight over land, legacy, or love. A rival stands too strong, too sure in their conviction. A pin in the stomach might fill them with unease, make their confidence waver, or turn their tongue to lead. But remember this, sugar. Voodoo is balance. What you send out, you best be ready to receive. The spirits do not play games, and neither should you. You're thinking like someone who understands the weight of this energy. If that woman in the crowd knew what she was doing, if she was truly working a spell, then a pin to the stomach of Mahomes' doll could have been meant to sop his strength, to fill him with hesitation, or to twist his confidence into doubt. Football is a game of will just as much skill. A quarterback like Mahomes thrives on instinct, on reading the field in a split second and making the right call without fear. But what happens when that instinct is clouded? When the stomach, his center of power, feels unsettled. Maybe his body felt sluggish, his reactions a step behind. Maybe that sharp edge of his decision-making dulled just enough to throw a pass too slow or to second-guess a move that should have been made without thought. And let's not forget, stomach pain, if truly afflicted, can weaken even the strongest person. If he felt off, even for a moment, that's all it takes in a game like that. A misread, an interception, a game slipping through his fingers like a fate already sealed. Now, was it the woman in the doll, or was it just the way the spirits decided the night should unfold? That, Cher, is the mystery of it all. But one thing's for sure. Intent carries weight, and the spirits have a way of answering back. At this point,
Really?
I emailed her back and I said, do you believe the woman really did curse Mahomes with the pin in the doll, or was it just for show? And she said, now that's the question, isn't it? Was it true work or just a fan grasping at superstition? In New Orleans voodoo, we know that power doesn't just come from the act. It comes from the belief behind it. If that woman put her whole spirit into that doll, if she called on the right forces, if she knew the rhythm of the work, then yes, Cher, it's possible that she sent something Mahomes' way. Energy moves in ways most people don't understand, and intention can be a force stronger than any play on the field. But if she was just playing, if she was just putting on a show for the cameras, then the spirits wouldn't have listened. Voodoo ain't a parlor trick. It's a conversation with forces older than time. If you knock on that door without knowing who's on the other side, you might find nothing, or you might find something you weren't ready for. So, did she curse Mahomes? Maybe. Or maybe the weight of millions watching, hoping and willing his downfall was enough to tilt the scales all on its own. Because sometimes, Cher, the most powerful magic isn't a doll or a puppet or a pin. It's in the collective force of belief.
Ooh.
So I asked her, do you have any final thoughts or things to tell the audience if they saw that video? And she said, if you watched that video and felt a chill, a curiosity, or a question in the back of your mind, you already know that answer is real. Whether that woman was working a true spell or just playing a part, she reminded the world of something most have forgotten. Intention has weight, belief has power, and sometimes the unseen moves among us just as surely as the wind. But let me tell you this. Voodoo is not about curses and puppets. It's about balance, about respect, about knowing that what you send out, you best be prepared to receive. If she was truly calling on forces beyond herself, she better hope she asked the right way, with the right heart. Because the spirits don't play favorites, and the debt of a misplaced working always comes due. And to those who laughed, who brushed it off as nothing, well, maybe you're right. Maybe Mahomes just had a bad game. Maybe the doll was just a cloth and a thread and the pin just a pin. Or maybe the universe was listening. And if you ever find yourself on the other side of that kind of energy, you'll understand why some of us know better than to take it lightly. So yeah, that's what Claudette said. I've actually been going back and forth with her for a few weeks. We're talking about having her as a guest on my podcast, but we're still working out all those details. Also, I have a story time about a man who sent me his experience of being cursed by a voodoo doll. So let me know if you want that, and I'll post that later today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because I don't know. I don't know what to think, but I feel like maybe there was something to this.
Claudette needs to repent. Voodoo is from the devil. Hey, what happened to him after? I didn't watch the game.
These broke kids thought it'd be fun to try and make an entire movie with just $2,000. But safe to say, it did not go according to plan. You see, after painstakingly saving up this money, working jobs that they hated, James and Lee had the idea to make their entire story about just two people in a single room. To further fit their tiny budget, Lee would star in the movie himself, and they would also borrow all of their equipment from their small Australian film school.
What?
Since they had recently graduated, these guys genuinely thought they could make a feature film with just their own money. But when Lee was finally done with the complete script and they finally told their advisor about their plans, she just told them to get funding. Although James and Lee weren't happy about this, she eventually convinced them. But even after pitching their movie for more than a year, still no one was willing to finance them. And when their advisor then recommended that they pitch in LA instead, James and Lee decided that they first needed actual proof that their story was good. So they just used all $2,000 that they had saved to create a 9-minute short version of their movie. This short actually ended up being so good that they soon got the funding they needed. And despite making their movie with just $700,000, Saw went on to become one of the best grossing horror films and franchises ever.
Nobody could have saw that coming.
How can we make sure that all the statements that you said were correct, so we can trust what you say?
Well, first of all, some of the things that I say will be incorrect and should be corrected. So nobody's going to bat 1,000. I mean, we will make mistakes, but we'll act quickly to correct any mistakes. I'm not sure we should be sending $50 million worth of condoms to anywhere, frankly. I'm not sure that's something Americans would be really excited about. And that is really an enormous number of condoms, if you think about it. If it went to Mozambique instead of Gaza, I'm like, okay, that's not as bad, but still, why are we doing that?
Actually, I love the fact that his child is by his side.
Exploring the Antarians, Part 1. There's a powerful alien race watching us, but they rarely make contact. Who are they? The Antarians, a mysterious extraterrestrial race said to originate from Antares, a red supergiant in the Scorpius constellation. Described as tall humanoids ranging from 7 to 12 feet,
okay.
They supposedly have shimmering skin, elongated heads, and piercing eyes that radiate wisdom. Unlike other alien species, the Antarians are not known for frequent contact with humans. Instead, they are believed to be watchers, intermediaries, or even cosmic peacekeepers, observing interstellar affairs from the shadows. Some theories suggest they have been involved in ancient galactic conflicts, possibly opposing the reptilian Draconians. Could they be allies of humanity or something far beyond our understanding? What do you think? Are the Antarians real? Let me know in the comments. Follow for Part 2.
They're demons. I am Groot.
John Blitch, his interview was fascinating.
What happened to him?
He believes that he was potentially abducted even as a child. He would see them outside his window just staring in. And then as an adult, he said, I would do this bike ride because the pressure of my job was just intense. This one bike ride, there are 5 hours unaccounted for. He said, my wife called the police and it's almost like I just closed my eyes and opened them. And he's like, it was just a little darker outside. And he said he was the most tired he's ever been. And then he went into a gas station, chugged so much Gatorade, walked out, and the police are like, hey, are you John or whatever? He's like, yeah. He's like, okay, well, you've been missing. Your wife called in. They're concerned about you. Can we give you a ride home?
And he couldn't remember anything besides that.
So no. But then he talks about there was one night he was visited. He said the only way I could describe it was a giant praying mantis. But it can speak to me telepathically.
Tim Alberino talked about him.
Yeah, he did.
Insectolin.
But he talked about this thing was speaking with him telepathically and basically along the lines of like, stop squirming, let us do our test. We can never hurt your soul. And then he woke up, said, I noticed on my arm 3 bruises inside my arm, like something had grabbed me.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
Why did the Mongols never conquer Japan? In 1284, Kublai Khan, grandson of Genghis Khan, had set his sights on Japan. Kublai Khan launched an invasion of Japan with 800 ships and 30,000 men. The Japanese could muster only 10,000 troops and were greatly outmatched in terms of technology and tactics. The Mongols decisively won the first battle of the invasion. However, a powerful storm destroyed a third of their fleet, forcing them to retreat back to Korea. Over the next years, the Khan assembled an even larger force, 4,000 ships and over 140,000 men for a new invasion of Japan. Once again, the Japanese were greatly outnumbered and the situation seemed desperate, but this time the Japanese were able to hold them back. Then, all of a sudden, another massive storm struck, destroying most of the Mongol fleet. Once again, Japan was saved by the wind. The Japanese believed that the storms were sent by the gods to save Japan.
Hey, did you know that the Mongols, through the leadership of Ambatu Khan, cousin of Kublai Khan, actually got inside Japan but wasn't able to reach the capital because they ran out of resources? I love world history, folks. Fascinates me. My next YouTube channel is going to be about world history.
Why do you think the piles on which Venice stands have not rotted for 1,500 years? Officially, it is believed that the city stands on millions of wooden piles as long as 5 meters. First of all, how did people in the 5th century manage to drive long piles deep into the ground without knowledge and special equipment? Wow. After all, according to legend, Venice was founded by the inhabitants of the province who were fleeing from the raids of the years. Secondly, why didn't the piles rot? It is believed that supposedly they were covered with mud and became very strong, but after all, in other places, they just rot. An interesting fact is that these piles are made of larch, which grows only in Siberia. Why people in the 5th century had to carry something 5,000 kilometers away. It is unlikely that they carried millions of piles on wagons 1,000 kilometers from Siberia to Italy. Don't you find that odd? Besides, the documents on how the city was built are not in the public domain at all. What if Venice was built by another civilization? Who do you think built Venice, and how?
You know, conspiracy theorists would say Tartaria was sunken, Venice was built on top.
And he said, I guess 50 million is not enough. And I would look at him like, who are you talking to? 50 million is not enough. I take the zero. You can take 3 more of the zeros off. I'm good with it. And I didn't know that what was troubling, but that was just so, for somebody that's still me, still coming up, not used to having no big money or anything. I was like, I don't even understand how anybody can say, I guess 50 million is not enough. I didn't understand that. And then he disappeared. It was so funny because I told Neil didn't know where it was. And I said, man, I bet you he probably went to Africa. And Neil was gonna be like, why would you say that? But I remember we were in the green room one day. It was me, Dave, Mos Def, and Dave was, I think Mos Def was a real estate agent in Africa, because he was trying to get everybody to come to Africa. I wanted to say, yo, you can't get all of Brooklyn to come to Africa, because then Africa becomes Brooklyn. Make it a secret or whatever, right? But I just had this weird feeling that he probably went there. Then cut to maybe 2-3 days later that they announced that he was in Africa. But for us, I never thought, I didn't know what the severity of what his thoughts were. I never thought that he wasn't going to come back, but he never came back. And he never communicated anything to me.
Do you believe there was a number that he would have been willing to come back from, or he was just over being underpaid for such a long time that he's like, 50 million, if y'all gonna pay me 50 million, how much are you guys actually making?
I don't know. That's a tough question that only
Dave could probably
answer. But at the same time, I know he loves money, but he's not driven by money. You know what I'm saying? I think that it was probably, more than likely, something morally he didn't agree with.
Right.
But I don't think that his decision to walk away was just the money. But I think that when he came back, it's like, no, give me my money.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't think that was that.
You know, his contract was 50-50, but when he made $500 million, they said, we will give you only 50.
This is such a powerful comment. It really deserves to be highlighted. This is also true of the American South. There is a saying, blacks know more about white folks than they know about themselves. Now, I can't speak about the experience of being a black person who's a victim of racism, but as a white South African who grew up under apartheid, I do know something about the psychology of being racist. Now, in apartheid South Africa, white people controlled the economy. We had all the gold mines and the platinum and the diamonds and everything else. But there was one natural resource that black people had in abundance, that they had far more access to than white people. And that natural resource was the truth, particularly the truth about white people. You see, in a racist society, as a racist, you need to constantly be tying yourself up in cognitive dissonance. You need to be contradicting yourself dozens of times a day. So in South Africa, for example, we believed that black people were lazy, that they didn't want to do any work. They just wanted to sit around all day and do nothing. But who did we get to dig the mines, to work in the factories, to drive the buses, deliver the post, build the houses? It was black people. We believed that black people were dirty. But who did we rely on to clean our houses? We believed that black people couldn't be trusted, but who was left unsupervised to look after our children? You see, what racism does is it forces the racist to act like a little child who will demand whatever they need at a particular moment, even if it's contradictory. Sometimes a black person will be like your child and you'll tell them what to do. But sometimes you'll be the child and they'll be the adult. They'll be the one making your bed, cooking your dinner, even comforting you when you're in emotional distress. Racism damages white people profoundly, and then black people are the victims of that damage. We transmit that damage into their lives. But fundamentally, black people will always know more about white people as long as white people continue to be racist, because they will have the objectivity of being able to see that cognitive dissonance from the outside. This is what the writer Rebecca Solnit says about this issue, which sums it up much better than I ever could. I always pair privilege with obliviousness. Obliviousness is privilege's form of deprivation. When you don't hear others, you don't imagine them, they become unreal, and you are left in the wasteland of a world with only yourself in it. And that surely makes you starving, though you know not for what, if you have ceased to imagine others in any true, deep way that matters.
Wow. Hey, I don't know anything about this, but let me know how you feel about this in the comment.
I come here twice a week in the morning just for their breakfast burritos, which are...
On the morning of April
God.
22nd,
Such a beautiful
2024, a
family.
10-year-old boy in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma called the police. And this 10-year-old boy told the police dispatcher that his 3 brothers and his mother and father were all dead. On the night before, John Candy, the boy's father, had gotten into an altercation with his mother, Lindsay. This caused John to snap and shoot and kill his wife. Afterwards, John then turned the gun on his young children.
Why?
And as the police described, he, quote, systematically went through the home shooting and killing the children. The police sergeant who spoke on the record also stated that, quote, those children were hunted down and killed, end quote. The victims included 18-year-old Dylan, 14-year-old Ethan, and 12-year-old
Oh my
Lucas. But the Candy's 10-year-old son slept through the murders, and it's unknown exactly why John skipped over killing him. From the outside looking in, everybody said that the Candy family was practically perfect, that John, the father, was your average goofy dad, and all the pictures that they took and posted seemed to show this. It's also eerie because John and his wife Lindsay, who he would go on to murder before killing himself, appeared on a local news segment shortly before the murders, talking about how much they loved a local eatery. But this is just a horrible situation and a story that I feel like we hear far too often in America. And the motive behind this crime is still unknown. If you want to hear more true crime stories, listen to the podcast that I co-host with my wife Courtney, Murder in America. It's available on all streaming platforms, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
You know, the kid slept through multiple gunshots? Thank goodness for his sake, but I find this so hard to believe.
They told us mercury is toxic. I think they mean toxic for the energy companies profiting billions every year. Keep watching to see how civilizations before us got their energy for free.
Buildings from the old world, the sacred buildings, they used to have these brass balls and they loaded them up with mercury and they put them real high up so that they could gather atmospheric energy, which is free energy. The higher you go up, the more energy that's up there, and they would run, for example, a copper wire down into their home, and they could use that if they wanted free energy or to light their light bulbs or whatever things that they had in the home.
Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and follow for more content like this.
You know, did they find mercury under one of the pyramids?
We have yet another plane incident as 2 planes crashed in Scottsdale, Arizona, leaving 1 unalived and 4 in the hospital. So a spokesperson for the Federal Aviation Administration told a reporter on Fox News that a plane was going to land when it veered off and it hit another plane. So apparently this happened around 2:45 p.m. in Arizona. But I'm not understanding, once again, how does this happen, y'all? It's too many plane incidents going on. And their favorite thing is to say is, I don't know what happened. I really don't know what went wrong. And as you can see, the weather is perfectly fine right here. I mean, accidents happen, y'all. I'm not saying they don't. But come on, it is becoming a normal thing. So as of right now, rightfully so, the airport is closed. My heart goes out to the people that was affected by this crash. And y'all, man, I just hope this shit stop, because it seems like it's becoming normal. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down below in the comments. I'm out.
Strange things going on, folks.
Hey friends, so the orbs are everything. The orbs are UFOs. The orbs are angels. The orbs are even
demons.
Drones. So I just listened to Chris Bledsoe and Ryan Bledsoe on the Bledsoe Said So podcast. And Chris was talking about his definition of the orb and how the orb is so important and fundamental to this whole phenomenon. So he was actually invited to Mission Control with NASA. The reason the government and NASA is so interested in him is because of the orbs, because they figured out something extremely interesting, that the orbs are the source of almost all of the UFO and UAP activity. So we see all these different craft, pyramids and saucers and, all these different cylindrical crafts and all these different types of crafts. So we think there's all these different crafts coming from different star systems and different aliens and whatever. Well, what they're finding out now, according to Chris, is that no, the orbs are basically able to project and manifest and materialize in any shape and form that they need to. That they're actually plasma orbs. And plasma is the fourth state of matter, and I think it should be called the first state of matter because now the NASA scientists think that plasma makes up about 99.9% of the universe. And plasma is actually an old Greek word that means to fold and to make form, which basically means that plasma is this intelligent material that can fold and form into anything it needs to. So what do we see with, like, let's say the drones? Well, what Chris says is that he thinks that we sent the drones up to basically harass these orbs, and then the orbs started harassing the drones by mimicking them and basically turning into planes and drones and whatever they wanted to, which is what people on the ground are saying. They're saying they're seeing an orb, and then all of a sudden it morphs into an airplane or a helicopter or a drone, and it doesn't look right. Something's just off. Well, evidently, what he thinks is that this is just a mimicry that the orbs do. They can do whatever they want, right? So this started with NASA, of these astronauts in the International Space Station looking out the window and saying that they saw orbs turn into like 120-foot tall angels, essentially. These big, glowing apparitions in space, right? Imagine seeing that in space, a 120-foot tall angel, right? And then people on the ground constantly talk about how they see orbs first, and then it turns into a pyramid-shaped craft or a disc-shaped craft or whatever. So even Chris's experiences, with the beings and the lady and everything always start off as orbs of light. So these orbs are coming into our physical reality, and they don't exist in our physical reality. They come into our physical reality, and then they can basically manifest into anything that they want. Going back to the 1800s and the airship mysteries, always started with orbs, and the Native American tribes, I would see like the glowing canoes, and that was their version, So it's like they can kind of take on whatever form they need to for the, cultural and consciousness perspective of the viewer, and they can render however they need to. But all these things, angels and apparitions and UFOs and everything, seem to be coming from orbs. These plasma, intelligent, conscious orbs that are spiritual by nature. And he says that this is leading us somewhere, that they are going to start, they already are, showing themselves in far greater numbers, far closer contact, and they're leading us up. They want us to be comfortable with this because they're going to have some big reveal for us. They feel that we are on the precipice of doing something stupid, and they're going to intervene, and that they're getting us ready so it's not a big shock to the system. So expect to see more orbs because this is all part of the plan, evidently. And the orbs is the actual source, but then they can manifest, project, and form into anything they need to accomplish whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish at that point. So anyways, very fascinating stuff. Go listen to the rest of the interview and let me know what you guys think. Have a beautiful day. Peace.
Orbs are demons.
So let's talk about microplastics in the body. In our continuing series on microplastics, we ask, where do they end up when they get into your body? They've been found in the blood, in blood clots, breast milk, semen, testicles, lungs, heart, liver, brain, carotid artery plaque, even the placenta. Research shows that once they're inside your body, they can cause trouble. And we don't have a good way to eliminate these tiny particles once they're in the bloodstream. But the body tries the only way it knows how. Macrophages eat up the invaders and try to digest them with enzymes, but they don't work on plastics like they do on natural fibers. So the macrophage just hangs on to it and circulates around trying to eat it. It may get eliminated in the stool or the urine, but it can also lodge in those organs that I mentioned, all the while causing inflammation and producing reactive oxygen species trying to oxidize the invader. These particles can cross biological barriers like the blood-brain barrier, meaning they're not just floating around, they're actually disrupting your health. For example, when they've been found lodged in plaque in the carotid arteries, patients were found to be 4.5 times more likely to have a cardiac event in the next 3 years. So it's not just theory. This is happening now. So this is worthy of your attention. Follow us to catch the rest of this series of short snippets, everything you need to know about microplastics, but don't have time to research. I'll do it for you.
Me and my homies hate microplastics. Our main op.
Okay, if you're into Tartaria, you should be into Barbaria too,
Wow,
because they're the same
Tartaria.
word. Tartaria means
Now
east
Barbaria.
of Rome, because we have a Roman history, guys. Remember, we have a Roman history. Tartaria means east of Rome. Barbaria means west of Rome. That's why you have Berbers in North Africa that are black, and you have barbarians in Germany and Scandinavia that are white. It's a Roman perspective to history. Okay, so Barbaria and Tartaria are the same thing. Well, in the Barbary Wars, where America was fighting Moors, we were fighting Morocco, Mauritania, Algeria, I think, these Moorish countries. That was in the early 1800s, mid 1800s, the Barbary Wars. As soon as we won the Barbary Wars fighting North African Moorish pirates, what happened in America? The age of piracy in South Florida. The Navy, the U.S. Navy, immediately left North Africa and came to the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean and Key West. And they enacted martial law in Key West in the name of fighting piracy. So who were these pirates that they were fighting that just popped up in Key West? Well, Florida was acquired in late 18-teens, early 1820s, right? Officially. In 1820, there was not a single permanent resident in Key West. By 1830, Key West was the richest city in America. How is that possible?
That's crazy, dude.
And we're told that it was all due to pirates that were making such good money, and shipwreckers and divers, treasure divers. Well, I guess all these pirates were doing their taxes if Florida, if Key West became the richest city in America, and it was the most populated city in Florida. One problem: there was no bridge. You had to get there by boat. So what was going on in Key West, where it was in a matter of 9 years, went from not having a single person living there to being America's richest city? What happened? Well, it was pirates. It was the Barbers, the Berbers, the Seminoles, Semitic people. But,
they showed up. Hold on. So you're saying...
I think they moved in.
They just moved in with all their pirate booty?
It's more just that the magnifying glass went to Florida because they were fighting the Moors.
Okay.
America was fighting the Moors in North Africa. As soon as that war ended, we unofficially started fighting the Moors in South Florida.
The Moors?
Okay.
Oh, so we went in, took over, and then we're like, oh yeah, by the way, there's a lot of gold here, and now it's the richest city out there.
Yes.
Whoa, bro.
Yep. And when the first railroad got to Key West, the population plummeted. So think about that. The only way to get there was by boat up until early 1900s, 1910s, I think, 1920s maybe. When the first railroad got to Key West, that Flagler used slaves to build, right? And Seminoles. They were using Seminoles and slaves to build it. When they got there, the population decreased. So how does that make sense? If this is the first time that you can actually access it by land, all the people just leave? Makes very little
So
sense.
they went there and killed everybody. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm. They went there, killed everything, transferred the wealth to essentially the white people, the new white people, and that's all there is to the story, really.
Oh my God, dude, this is just so blows my mind because, this is Sam speaking. There has been a giant psyop against the black community, this victimhood put on them, that they all came here in a fucking boat, defeated, and turned into slaves, right? When in reality, they discovered America and were here before a lot of people.
Probably languages is the barrier. That's why nobody see the meaning of the word Tartaria. Once again, I love going to Tartaria rabbit hole.